In the United States, a shutdown has been declared, meaning the government stopped operations because the budget was not approved. Congress did not manage to pass the government funding bill before the start of the new fiscal year. It's notable that this is already the third suspension of federal agencies' operations. Under President Donald Trump, negotiations between Republicans and Democrats reached a deadlock over health insurance subsidies. The Democrats demanded to tie them to temporary funding, while the Republicans refused. Trump's team is acting in their usual manner, and all government employees who refuse to work for free during the shutdown are already being threatened with dismissal. In this episode, we'll discuss what a shutdown is, what it means for Americans, and who will blink first to end the shutdown, the Democrats or the Republicans. Here's a little spoiler. Last time, they were the first to blink. My name is Alexei Pechi. Today is October 1st. Let's discuss this topic together. But before we start, I want to ask you to subscribe to this YouTube channel, give it a like, and leave any comment under this video. If you want to support the work of this YouTube channel, you can do so with any donation using the links and details in the description of this video. It says there, support the YouTube channel, Alexei Pechi. Choose any format that is convenient for you. Any support you provide is appreciated. So, lawmakers in the United States Congress failed to pass the spending bills on time, and that's why a shutdown has been declared in the country. But Social Security and Medicare payments continue, since these appropriations are not covered by annual funding. Medical care for veterans will also continue. The Border Patrol and the National Weather Service continue their work, and most military personnel and national security employees will also keep going to work. Overall, this is a temporary suspension, and it's only a partial government shutdown. Americans will have to face difficulties in their daily lives. And federal employees who are furloughed or working without pay during the funding lapse will also have to face serious problems. The Trump administration, by the way, has already threatened to fire many federal employees if they refuse to work without pay during the shutdown. Let me remind you that the last government shutdown under Donald Trump, which was actually the longest in United States history, ended in January 2019, and it ended after 10 air traffic controllers simply lost their patience and didn't show up for work, which led to the temporary closure of LaGuardia Airport in New York. The very concept of a funding halt or shutdown appeared relatively recently in 1980 under Jim Carlson. Before that, government agencies often continued their operations even when lawmakers didn't pass appropriation bills on time. But what went wrong? The appropriations process is supposed to be completed by the end of September each year before the start of the government's fiscal year, which begins today, October 1st. 12 separate appropriations bills are supposed to be passed. This year, none of them have been passed by both chambers. By the way, this is the first time since 1997 that not a single bill has been passed. There is absolutely no funding provided at all. But what is the essence of the current struggle between Democrats and Republicans in Congress? The Democrats see this as an opportunity to use their only real leverage over the government. They insist that the Republicans restore the expiring subsidies under the Obamacare program so that health insurance premiums don't increase by 75% for about 24 million people participating in this program. The Republicans want to hold these debates before the end of this year. How will all this end? Someone will give in first, make concessions, and then the funding will be approved. It could be a long or a short pause, but it will definitely end with someone blinking. This current funding failure is somewhat similar to the first and shorter of the two funding failures during the first one. So we can look at that situation, compare it, and try to make a prediction. Back then, in January 2018, the Democrats insisted on permanent assistance for the children of illegal immigrants who had been granted temporary status by President Barack Obama, but Trump insisted on shutting down that program. And then, a few days later, the Democrats gave in and voted for a short-term government funding bill for 3 weeks, in exchange for assurances that they would have the opportunity to discuss and resolve the issue of immigrant children. But that issue was never resolved. Trump deceived the Democrats back then, so now they're less willing to compromise. But there's a trap here for the Democrats. Often the electorate, that is the voters, place most of the blame on the party trying to use a government shutdown. In this case, it could be the Democrats, and that's exactly why the Republicans are more than calm right now. The longer the government shutdown lasts, the more time the Republicans have to blame everything on the Democrats. Why is this beneficial for Trump? Yes, because the 2026 midterm elections are just around the corner, and the Democrats are desperate to gain control of the House of Representatives. And right now, it's very convenient to say that the Democrats are the ones to blame for the government shutdown. All the problems are because of them, so let's not vote for them in the midterms. But here we need to go back to relatively recent history again. The longest government shutdown in United States history happened during Donald Trump's first term. It started after the 2018 elections, at a time when the Republicans lost control of the House of Representatives, but before the Democrats officially took power. And Trump wanted to get money to fund his border wall. And he threatened not to sign any spending bills that didn't include funding for that wall. Even with a majority in the House of Representatives and the Senate, he wouldn't have been able to get that funding. The Democrats, having eventually gained control of the House of Representatives, insisted that the discussion about the border wall be separated from the broader debate. In the end, Trump gave in, but only after triggering the longest government shutdown in history, which began just like now when his Republicans actually had full control of the federal government. Back then, the shutdown lasted 35 days. How long it will last now, only time will tell. But here again, I want to emphasize that we need to watch closely to see who blinks first and who will be the first to make concessions. Trump already faced two cases, one where Democrats blinked first and one where he had to give in. So for now, I'll leave it at that. Share your opinions and conclusions in the comments below this episode, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, and don't forget to like. That's it for now. Take care. Goodbye, everyone.